What's up everyone, TheGame2k2 here again, and today I feel like going back in time and taking a look at a truly classic game. So today we're going to be looking at Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was one of the first games that I ever played religiously as a kid, but how exactly does it hold up nearly 20 years later? And the answer to that is very, very well. To be honest, I actually played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 years before I ever got my hands on the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. Obviously, the Sonic character was designed to compete with Nintendo's big character Mario in the ongoing Sega-Nintendo rivalry. I'd be lying if I said that the Sonic character wasn't a cool character. In fact, when I was a kid, I thought the Sonic character was actually better than Mario. That opinion has since changed as an adult because the Mario character has definitely been treated better than the Sonic character has in the last 10 years. The gameplay for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the classic side-scrolling gameplay. The game consisted of 11 levels, 8 levels consisted of 2 to 3 acts, while the last 3 levels only consisted of 1. One of the gameplay elements that separated the Sonic games from the Mario games was its scale. The levels were just gigantic at the time and had so many elements in them. One of my favorite levels was the casino because not only was it big, but it had that big slot machine that I spent hours on at a time. Obviously, one of Sonic's well-known abilities was his ability to run fast. This ability was both a blessing and a curse to the player because while it was cool to see him running through the obstacles at a high rate of speed, if you were going too fast, you would never see an enemy coming at you and wouldn't be able to avoid them. Much like the Mario games, you collect coins, or in this case rings, in each level, and while it does give you extra lives if you collect enough of them, one of the interesting elements added was the ability to go into a special stage. In the middle of each level there is an object known as the star post, which is a checkpoint in the middle of each level, and if you collected enough stars you would see a halo above the post when you hit it. When you jumped through the halo you were sent to the special stage. The special stage is Sonic and Tails running through a 3D half-pipe, and you have to collect enough coins to reach the end of the stage and collect an emerald. Sonic 2 was one of the first games that I remember that actually used 3D graphics for an element of the game. It surprisingly looked fantastic on the 16-bit Genesis, and kind of sad that they didn't use it more in their other games. At the end of each level you face your enemy, Dr. Robotnik, who appears in a different kind of machine in each confrontation. He isn't too difficult to get by in most of the levels. I think the only time that he gave me a little bit of grief was the Oil Ocean Zone, which took me quite a few tries to get through. Graphically, the game is phenomenal for its time and still looks good today. It's incredibly colorful, and one of the things that impresses me is its frame rate. The game consoles from this time consisted of games that were relatively slow-paced. Sonic was obviously different because he ran at such a high rate of speed, but the game surprisingly runs very smoothly. I think the only time I ran into hiccups with the frame rate was being underwater. Overall, as cliche as this might sound, I can honestly say that they don't make them like they used to. Don't get me wrong, I love all the games that have come out recently. I love games like Call of Duty and Halo, but with the older games, all you did was pop it in, turn it on, push start, and you were playing the game. They didn't have these fancy storylines and character development. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was just a simple game that you just had fun playing, and nearly 20 years later, I can honestly say it's just as fun now as it was then. Well everyone, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.